Hello everyone, I'm Nadim, and in this video I'll be teaching you how to make your camera follow your selected player if you have more than one. So basically after you watch this video you will have an idea about how to make your camera follow your player smoothly even if you change between players. Okay, so I got these two random pictures from the internet, and I'll just make them, I'll turn them to sprites, and those two will be my characters. So I'll just drag them in the scene and rename this uh, character 2 and character 1. Okay, so I'll just reposition them. Let's add a ground. I see if you have anything. I don't think so. I'll just add a 2D box collider or 2D sprite, doesn't matter. Game object, add 2D box collider. uh, I'll call it ground and just let's say it's 100 by 5. And you can add 2D rigid body for each of the characters and a box collider. So where is it? Oh, okay, it's a box collider for every character and rigid body. I'll just rescale rigid body so it can fit. I'll do the same here. Okay, great. Let's see how it does in game. Okay, so it's very basic. Our characters stand on the ground. I'll just make it longer so you'll see the camera following them even when they are far out. Okay, so first thing we will add is the player movement component. So just say player movement in C#. Open that up, and we will need a boolean called selected, and change this to fixed update. And also we need a reference to our rigid body, so rigid body 2D, I'll just call it RB, and we can assign that in the beginning. So the kit component. Okay, so in the fixed update you can just say if this player is selected, just move it. So transform. Oh no, I can add a force to the rigid body. It's easier. So add force. It's like 5 and 0. So it will move. Oh, and force mode 2D force. Okay, so it will just add force for the x-axis. Of course, we have to change this to a vector too. So move vector to 5 0, and let's go ahead and pass that in. Forgot to call this force. Okay. We can make those public variables if we want to change them in the editor. So public float for force x and force y. Let's replace it force x and force y. Okay, so if the player is selected, add force to the rigid body along the x-axis or the y, whatever you want. So I'll just go ahead and try what we just wrote. Say I wanted to add 5 on the x-axis if it's selected, but okay, I will have to make this public so you can change it in the editor. Okay, great. So does it move now? When I hit selected, it moves. Okay, so now we have I can just go ahead and try both of them. I forgot to add this. Let's say 5 and 5, and this one selected and 5, or maybe -5 and 20. Okay, doesn't matter. So add this here too. So one of them will be selected at a time, and the camera will follow him. So the second thing we want is selected component for each player. So go ahead and create a script called selected. This one is very simple. It will just hold a public boolean selected. That's it. Same as here, and this remove the public, and it's good now. Okay, and we have to assign it, of course, the fixed update. So selected here equals we have to reference that. So okay, so now this value always equals this value over here in the selected component attached to the same game object. So whenever you want to change a character, you just tick this and set it to true, and then you can just make all the components depend on this, and when it's true you will control this character, and the other ones will be false. So now we've added this, we need a character selection component. Just go ahead and add a empty game object, call it game manager, and add character selection. Before we go ahead and open this up, just add a player tag for each of for the players. Okay, great. Now we open this up, and we need game object array. I'll just call it players objgs objects, and we need also a transform array. Call this players, and we need a selected component array. Call this selected components, or select, or it doesn't matter. Okay, so now at the beginning we want to create a new array for player no game object. We need to create an array of game object with the size of how many players we have in the game. So in order to do that, you just go ahead and type game object dot find find game objects with tag, and then just pass in the tag you want. We want player, like this, and then dot length or count. I don't know, length maybe. Oh, it should be objects, not objects. So now it should appear. Okay, so now let's do the same for the players and other selected components. So players equals new transform with the size of player objects at length, and select. We do the same thing with the selected components. And now we assign them. So for int I equals 0, I less than player on left length I plus plus. We assign each selected component to this array. So selected components I equals player objects I dot get component, and just type in select. Okay, so now we have those selected components. We can just say create a void called change character, and then we want to pass an int for the index, and we will simply say for int I equals 0, I less than selected components dot length I plus plus. If I equals index, then selected components I dot selected, that was a voice crack, equals true, and if it's not, then it's false. So the selected one will have true and the others will false. The past, the one with the same index. Okay, so we say loop through the selected components, and if it equals the index we have given it, it will set the selected boolean to true, and if not, it will set it to false. So up here we will say, like, for example, if we want to change to character 2, we will say if input dot get key down key code dot keypad 1 I mean 2. So now when we press the number 2 on the keyboard, we want to change character see, change character to 2, or it's 1 in the array. Okay, great. So now we need to add this follow player component, and then we will make this more advanced. Okay, so here's the camera. It's already set. I'll just remove this. Okay, so call this follow player. Okay, great. We can first. Oh, okay, no, I'll just do it here. We will need a reference to the main player, the selected one. So transform main player. Okay, and come back here, make this public, and we have to assign the transforms too. We forgot to do that. So players I equals player objects I dot transform, and here you can create a public transform main player as well, and we will just remove the static and make it here, make this variable static, so we can get it from any other script. And now whenever we change a character to make it the main one, we'll just go ahead and save it in the variable just declared. So select components I dot game object dot transform, and we'll do the main player equals that. So the main player equals the one we just selected, and because at the beginning one of them will be the first one. So if selected components I dot selected equals true, without the equals, you can just do this. So it will assign it at the beginning and will update each time we change the character. Alright, I'll just see if we can test something now. Been typing a lot of code. Alright, let's see how it works and if we have any bugs or something. So we'll just go ahead. Oh, forgot to. We should make one selected at least. I'll just make this one selected. Okay, so now this is. We already have an error, so players I. Oh, of course. I haven't also assigned the player objects, so player objects are just go, doesn't need to be in the loop. Assign it here, player objects equals game object dot find game objects with tag player, and then just semicolon. That will do this job. Alright, so let's test it now. What if I change that to alpha 2? So it works. Okay, so we'll just use the alpha. Now we can go ahead and say we can do the same thing, but like this. Test. Make this 1, make this 2, or the opposite to 1, or 1. Wait, so 1 and 0. Alright, so now we should change between the characters when I press 2 and 1. Okay, so I pressed 1, this one moves, press 2, this one moves. Okay, great. Now we'll just have to follow them with the camera. So go back to follow player, and we need the following. I'm gonna make sure that this is true. Alright, so this is a static variable. I'll just go ahead and make this character selection dot main player. Okay, great. Now we need to follow it. So there's a function called smooth damp vector3 dot smooth damp. Yeah, so we'll just we'll be using that, and this is how it works. So we need a vector3, we need the current position and the target position, plus we need the time we want the camera to be to the destination in that time. So transform that position equals vector3 dot smooth damp transform dot position. This is the current position, and we need target and velocity and the time. Alright, so we need a public vector3. Just call this velocity, and here we need the destination. So we'll just call it this, and it's a new vector3. We only need the x-axis because it's 2D. So we'll do this main player dot position dot x, and just pass in 2 zeros for the y and z. Here we can pass in that vector3 you just created and the velocity with the ref keyword, so like this, and at the time you want it to perform this, so just create a public float time and pass that in. Alright, like this. Okay, great. I think it should work now. where did I add this code? Let's see. Alright, let's say 1 second and let's see what happens. So it changes in the y-axis, I don't know why. Oh, we should not change these values. So instead of memorizing them, we can just go ahead and do transform.position.y, and the same with this one. Just copy this and put z. Alright, great. So now it will not change the y and z, it will only move on the x-axis. Okay, so now we are following player. Which one is this? It's player 1, and if I go ahead and change the character, it will go to player 2. So that one already fell off. I'll just going to maybe make this 500 or 1000, and we'll make the move and we'll see how it goes. Okay, so now player 1 is moving and the camera is following him. Now if I want to see what's happening with the first player, I can just go ahead and press 1, and as you can see, smooth transition and he's moving. We can wait till he gets to the second player. Of course the movement is not smooth, but this is not what the tutorial is about, so I'm not going to get to that. You can just go ahead to change to player 2 and you can see that it's moving. Okay, that's great. Now we need to make the code more efficient. So go back to character selection and create an array called for key code. So key code array buttons, and just add in all the possible numbers for the key code, starting from this one. Come on. Oh, and you can go ahead and change them to 3, 4, and 5, 6, 7, 8, and another 2, so 9 and 0. Okay, great. 9 and 0. Okay, so instead of doing what we just did over here, we can do this shorter method. It's like, it goes like this. Let's disable this as well. So if, oh no, first we're going to for loop int I equals 0, I less than buttons dot length dt, and what did I call it? All right, buttons I less than btn dot length I plus plus if import dot get key down btn I, then change character I. That's great. So let's say it's 0. So the first value of btn is number 1. If you press number 1, the I value will be 0, and you'll pass 0 to the change character method, and you will select the first character. So this is a very shorter method instead of just copying and duplicating. So of course you can make this a lot better, but I'm just for the sake of tutorial, I was just going to show you or give you an idea about how to do this in 2D. So this is the camera movement, character selection, this holds the boolean, and this is the player movement script. So last test, so we can see if this change that we did now actually works. Okay, so start the game. First player is moving, change. Second player is moving, and you can see it works perfectly. You can just go ahead and give this make them faster, and they're following him. Of course, we can make the camera also follow faster. We can just type this 0.3, so now it will follow a lot faster. So for example, if I make the first character selected, oh, we reached the limit. I'll just go ahead, make this 0.3, and then you can see, even if I increase the speed, it will still be visible. But if I like make the time slower, I will go off screen, as you can see. So we go back to the first character. It's great. So this is how you change characters and make the camera follow them smoothly. Um, sorry for the mistakes that I've done and for the confusion if there was any. Um, you can make this code simpler and more efficient, but like I said, it's just for the sake of the tutorial. So I hope you enjoyed, and there you go. You can check out the game I'm developing now. It's called Sort. It's a story-based game where you have to solve puzzles and stuff. Um, the main developer is me, and only me. My friend is making the music, but I'm waiting to optimize it so I can send it to him so he can make the music sounds and all that. So for now, I was just working alone, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and hopefully you'll see my new tutorials, and hopefully I will improve. I'm still young, and I have a lot to learn. Okay, thank you, and peace.